Well, good Sunday morning to you. Chris Hare here, the crypto cowboy. Hope you had a good Saturday evening. I'm getting up, getting ready to go to church, get a little Jesus. Everybody needs a little Jesus. Just makes my week better. But I haven't done one of these in a while. Altcoin update. I'm going to cover SOL and XRP. We're going to figure out where they're going. They took pretty hard hits when Bitcoin fell. Altcoins typically do. Not surprising, but even I didn't expect this kind of pullback. But if you're enjoying these videos, go ahead and hit the like button, like the video, subscribe to our channel, tap that bell notification. You'll get notifications as soon as we drop a video. And please leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it helps us reach and help more people. Now, I need to remind you this video is not for financial advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Use caution when trading crypto. You could lose all of your money. All right, without further ado, let's go in. Crypto Fear and Greed Index, just like we cover every day, covers market sentiment, tells you if the group of people, everybody trading, is scared. Are they euphoric? Well, right now, they're super scared, guys. We are in fear. But what I will tell you, when we go to fear, historically, there's a big move that comes after. You can see how many times we hit fear, and they're great opportunities for your spot bag. I'm not scared here, guys. I still think there's another pump in the tank. Will the altcoins perform as well? Time will tell. But we're going to break it down, try to figure out some bottom side targets on these, and get you guys the most accurate information possible. Now, I'm going to start off with the Bitcoin chart because altcoins typically follow Bitcoin. And right now, when Bitcoin pulls back hard, they pull back even harder. And let me tell you, it's been bloody, bloody, bloody. But there's a Bitcoin chart. You can see we're pulling back. We've talked about these targets, anywhere from $100,000 all the way down to $85,000. But with that, let's go back. We're going to look at the liquidation heat maps for Solana first and figure out what the market makers are after. And here it is. I went to a weekly chart because there's just not a lot of liquidations that show up on a daily after a massive pullback like that. But to the bottom side, guys, there's still some liquidity down here, and I think they're going to want to come after it. Somewhere around $14.4 million. Now, if you go to the upside all the way up to about $190, there's $108 billion worth of liquidations to the top side. You can see there's some heavy pockets here, right around $175, $180. But it looks like the candles are down. They're trying to go after this liquidity. I think once they grab it, we'll probably make a floor, and maybe we start looking for some kind of brief upside. But I must warn you, we've dropped below 50 moving averages. So the consensus right now is that we're bearish. All right, with that, let's go to Solana's weekly chart. Let's talk about it. Big, ugly red candle. Bloody, 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 bloody. But there's hope. We've got our trend lines here that we've talked about all the time. 3 touch points on the candles make a trend. There's one to the top side, one to the bottom side, and it lines right up in our weekly golden zone. You can see we took a really big hit on tariff talk back in January and bottomed out. It was amazing. $94. What a great opportunity to buy Solana. From there, we went back up to this 50 moving average that we talk about regularly. We use it as a fluid support and resistance line. And we broke that resistance, turned it into support, retested it, and then we launched. Didn't quite make the high that we made back in January, but we're at but we made it to $253. Bitcoin hit an all-time high, and when that happens, these things pull back, just like I said, even harder. So I've got the weekly golden zone somewhere around $158 to $131. Our weekly 50 moving average is right around $154 right now, and that will gradually inch up as time goes on. So I'm thinking $158 may be a solid target for Solana, but we'll go down to the daily and we'll really break this move out. I'm not worried about upside targets until we find a floor, guys. We got to find a floor. Now, what I will tell you is we put in this very big wick. You can see it. And historically, market makers like to fill these wicks back out. They're not going to let these people that took longs and push this up They're not going to let them stay in this game. But you can see we've lost the 50 moving average on the daily, and this is our indicator for a bearish or bullish trend. So we're clearly way below the 50 moving average, and we're moving up to the 200. Now, these moving averages take an average. This one takes an average of 50 candles and puts us a fluid line on the chart, but this is a 200. It takes 200 daily candles and makes another fluid line. You can see we found support on it when we had this horrible crash, and now we're coming down to retest it. So the question is, do we bounce? Do we find a floor here at $172? Or do we lose it, retest, and kind of work down to that weekly 50 that puts us down at $145? That's what we're going to watch really close. The thing is, guys, when you have giant pullbacks like this, they don't really just hit it and launch. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a few days to a week of consolidation wherever this thing wants to find a floor, and then we'll start thinking about upside targets. What I will tell you is that if we do decide to long this from down here, we'll long to the 50, we'll take our profits, and we'll wait. If we may get rejected, and that would be a time to close it. A lot of times that happens, but it may not. What we need is a close above this 50 moving average. We need to turn it into support by a retest. And then once we do that, we'll really consider bigger longs to the top side. So that's kind of where we are with Solana. I hope that clarifies some things for you. I also want to cover XRP tonight. I went ahead and pulled up a heat map for it, and I'll pull it up for you guys right now. And you can see there was a wick. I think it went all the way down almost to $1. It was brutal. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I don't think it's ever happened. $10 billion worth of liquidations that happened yesterday and it seemed like it happened in about 30 minutes. I've never seen the price fall that fast in my life. But if you see, we've got $65 billion worth of liquidations just down to $1.62, guys. But my question is, that's a really, really big wick. Do we go down and try to fill it out? Is XRP dead? We've got a big question here. And that's what we need to wait on. We need to see where this thing settles and see what kind of strength we can get from there. To the top side, though, there's $230 billion worth of liquidations. So we've clearly got an imbalance that at some point they're going to want to come back and grab. So I don't think all hope is lost, but we'll get into the charts. We'll kind of take a look and see what they tell us, and that'll give us a better understanding of what's going on. And there's the big ugly wick, but I want to start on the weekly chart. So we have a really good idea of what the macro is doing, because that's what's driving the whole thing. You can't stay on an hourly or a 15-minute chart or even a 4-hour chart and understand what's going on with the bigger picture. But you can see on the weekly, we drop below this 50 moving average, guys, which is kind of concerning. And we have a weekly golden zone somewhere between 161 and $1.03. That wick went all the way to $1.27. Now, we can argue here, because these things usually like to fill out about 70% of those wicks. That puts us right around $1.51. So what I think might happen, because you can look at this historically and see a trend that usually happens a lot, XRP likes to lose this 50 moving average. And when it was flat, it even lost to 200, but that wasn't the end. 38 cents, everybody thought XRP was dead. Everybody thought it was a stable coin all the way through here. Then it absolutely launched. I've still got XRP bought in at around 50 cents. So I'm watching this really close. I did take a lot of profit. I pulled all my initials out when we reached these highs. So everything I've got in XRP right now is free money. I can't lose. And if we don't, and we set a lower high, and I think it's going to go back down, then I'll take some more profit up here. But it's right now, I don't even want to talk about that conversation right now. We just need to figure out where this bottom is. So that gives you a pretty good understanding on the weekly. We'll go to the daily. We'll break this chart down just a little bit more to understand where this bottom might be. I'm not going to go below the dailies tonight. There's really no need for it until we find some kind of floor. So let's just break it down and take a better look. All right, you can see we lost the 50 moving average at 284, and we've never really came back to retest it. So here's what I think we might possibly do. We might find a floor about 221, 222, where the 200 moving average is. That's also going to work as a really good support and resistance, and we're also in our daily golden zone. There is a possibility we bounce here, maybe retest this 50 moving average and come back down, or we may go on up and break out of it. We'll just have to wait and see. This wick is suspect. I really think we're probably going to want to fill some of that out. So I'm really looking at a target around 143, but we could bounce, guys, right around 216, 218. I wouldn't rule it out, but we're getting close. Over the next few days, I'll follow up with an update here and we'll get a really good idea. What I need to remind you on Solana and XRP both is that when we find this floor, we'll get several days of consolidation. After a big dump like that, they just don't hit it and bounce up and rocket off. They're going to consolidate. People are scared. It's going to take a while for people to buy and put in some structure that tells me that we're going to be bullish. So there you have it. That's Solana, XRP. I hope you found this informative. I hope you found it educational. When we get to a point that there's a valid trade, I'll talk to you guys about how I'm going to approach it, where I'm going to step my stop losses, how much margin to put in. And let's see if we can't get you guys successful. But I hope you guys have a great Sunday today. I've got a lot going on. Like I said, I'm headed to church. We're going to come home. We're going to ride some horses and rope. Should be a good day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I'm Chris Hare, the Crypto Cowboy. We'll see you down the road.